Hi, my name is Susie, also known as Suuseke at Ravelry. You will find all the information and details in my show notes, and I'll tell you exactly where to find them at the end of this little podcast. Well, this is my first podcast that I posted because before I have already taken or recorded 2 podcasts complete with all the things I wanted to talk about, but I just didn't dare to post them. Probably it's, I think it's insecurity. Who would be interested in what I do? But well, you never know if you don't try. So, welcome to my first podcast. In this podcast, I will tell you more about my adventures in Yarnland or Fiberland. I love fiber. I'm into all kind of craftiness, and one of my um, well things I really like to do is feel the fiber slipping through my fingers and just enjoying the feel of it. The crafts doesn't really matter that much. Um, no, of course the crafts do matter, but it's all fiber related. Let me say it that way. Of course, I made my show notes because if I start rambling, I really do ramble, and I can talk on and on and on and on and on. I would like to share my adventures of you on knitting, spinning, and weaving. I also happen to sew a bit, crochet a bit, and do all other kinds of crafty stuff. And who knows, if you're interested and if I feel like it, maybe in a later podcast, if there is a next or a later podcast, I will tell you more about that. First of all, I started knitting, or at least I learned to knit when I was a little girl. My mother taught me. My grandmother taught me how to crochet, and my mother also taught me how to sew. But I have to admit, it wasn't until, well, I think 3 or 4 years ago that I was obsessed again with all things fiber related. So I started to learning spinning, um, knitting projects and enjoying them, um, fiber preparation, dyeing yarn. There's a lot out of there, and I really like and enjoy to do most of these things. Um, well, I'm not that experienced or a professional or in any way, but I really enjoy it. So I'd like to reach out to the community out there and to see if, they are also interested in people like me who are not doing this for their living, but just as a hobby without a shop. Well, who knows? Maybe someday there will come a shop, an Etsy shop perhaps, because I really have a lot of stuff. It would be great to pay for my hobby that way, but well, it's not what I'm doing at the moment. Um, so I will just follow the regular way of podcasting if and I'll just follow my show notes, and I hope you enjoyed spending some time with me. I'm not into making or taking or recording long podcasts. Just simply talking a bit about what I've done and where my needle's at and what I've been doing with spinning and things like that. Shops I've visited, books I read. Oh, there's so much to talk about. I really enjoy watching other people telling me about their fiber adventures when I'm knitting. So I hope some of you will enjoy this as well. And I thought it's the perfect moment to record a podcast because it's the start of the, crafting season. It's the end of September, and usually that's when autumn comes, but we have had a really long after summer here in the Netherlands. I live next to, nearby the coast. If I take my bike, then it will take me about 5 to 8 minutes cycling, and I'm at the beach. And even a fewer, I think about 3 or 4 minutes, and I'm at the harbor, a little yacht harbor. So I really enjoy living here. I've been living here for about 20 years, and I've enjoyed every second of it. Okay, but enough about my surroundings. Throughout my other podcast, you will probably learn a little bit more about me. I'll start with finished projects or off my needles. The first thing I'd like to show you is a shawl I knitted. I'm not sure the lighting is reacting to the sunlight outside, so I hope that's not too big a problem. It's a triangular shawl. And I usually like to wear it like this. It was a really nice knit. I really enjoyed knitting it because for the most of the part it was just mindless. Just increasing and following the, oh, there it is. Yeah. Following a pattern of my own in which I work with eyelets between a few rows and change the color between a few rows. So for everybody who is curious, the dark green wool, that's this color, is from a long wool yarn, the sock base, and the color is petrol. It's a merino nylon mix. Then I have this color. It's also a petrol color, but a semi-solid. This is a color I dyed myself with landscape dyes. I really like the result because it has all those slightly variations. It's a real pleasure to knit with. Also a merino nylon base, but with a little bit stellina added in there. And then these stripes, just these accent stripes. It's very glittery. I like glitters. And it's a very nice yarn to work with, but I am wondering if it's too scratchy to make an entire project out of it. And why do I wonder? Because I have enough left. It's the Rico Design Creative Reflection print in the color, let me see if it has a color. Yeah, it does, of course. Color 005. And it's a nice sea green. Oh, the screen does do it a bit. It's, yeah, this is the color. And I really, really love these colors. I'm really into that sea green, teal green, goldish, beige, and things like that. Usually I'm not much for gold glitter. I'm more for silver glitter, but this was a yarn I just couldn't resist. So that's about this shawl. It took me not that long to knit. I knitted this over the summer, and well, because of I have my day job, I do not have all that time to knit. And also I have 3 kids and a husband, and my family also ask a lot of time. They should. I'm glad they do. So this is my first finished object, and I'm very proud of it because I really like the colors. And it's soft and squishy, and I cannot wait till it starts getting a little bit more cold and I can wear it on my leather green jacket. It would be real great. Okay, enough about this shawl. One of my other projects, which I really enjoyed, is one I finished a long time ago, but I wanted you to show because I really like what I learned from it. It's woven, It's a scarf, and as you can see, this is another of my favorite colors, the wine red or the Bordeaux. Not sure what you call it in English though. And it's a bit of artsy weaving. I did this on a rigid heddle loom. I have several of those. Don't say that. I have. I know you can work one loom at a time, but it's just the possibilities. I like them when they're endless. As you can see, what I really like is I like to use, well, beads in the fringe. I like to work with textured um, stuff, fibers, and of course my own hand spun is also in there. It's a little bit more scratchy than I thought. I think it's because of some wool which I got from my mother, and it's Norwegian wool. But I think I will have to wash it in hair conditioner and see if that changes everything. Well, I could just wear it like this. I really enjoy wearing this. It's not something you can easily buy in a store, so every time I wear it I get questions. Oh, where did you buy it? And no, it's strange. When people see something I wear and they ask me, did you make it yourself? I'm like, is it that obvious? Whether when they ask me, where did you buy it, I'm really proud because I made it myself. Which is ridiculous because, of course, sometimes you can see that something is handmade. Even in the shops, they look handmade, so why should it bother me? I'm not sure why. Anyway, I really enjoyed this scarf too. I cannot tell you much about the yarn because the yarn I got mostly from my mother, or I spun it. So and that's something I cannot tell you. What I can tell you is that I used a lot of locks in here. Just nice locks for pops of extra color. And that this yarn is just some novelty yarn. I just had some scraps left. And that's also the beauty of weaving. You can work with scraps of yarn. It doesn't matter. You can make it your own thing. Well, if I want to keep this a short podcast, I have to keep on going. So that's what I will do. The next section, where my needles at? Well, if you would have told me a few years ago, one day you'll be knitting socks, I would have laughed because sock knitting is for old ladies. I know, it's just what I thought at that time. But then I watched all those podcasts, and all those podcasters were so enthusiastic telling me about how great it is to knit socks. So I started, and I completely understand why they're all so taken with knitting socks. So I finished one pair, my first pair, which I will not show you. Maybe in a later stadium, but not now. But I will show you my second and third pair because that's what I have on the needle right now. I have, let me see. Yeah, I know, the pattern is a bit surprising, isn't it? I knit my socks magic loop 2 at a time, toe up. It's just a vanilla sock pattern, nothing new. A rounded toe, but with a fish lip kiss heel, fish kiss lip, fish lips kiss heel. You probably know the heel. And I think it turned out quite nice, but when you see it as a flap on the sock, it looks like, well, I don't know, kind of weird tongue something. What I really enjoy is the yarn. This is also a merino nylon based yarn which I dyed myself, and this was dyed as a, well, how do you call this, a cone? I think so. It was taken apart slightly and then I dyed it, and of course I rewound it. It was wounded up with 2 strands, so it's able to knit 2 at a time and have approximately the same pattern on both socks, as you can see. And this is very interesting what happened here, because here it was stripy, which I really liked, and suddenly here you get this pooling, and that happened because I added I think 2 stitches here, and that changed from striping to pooling. Well, that's really weird. They are knit on my Chaogu lace twist needles, interchangeables, with this red cable, and it's the mini, so the sock knitting sizes. So the cables, you cannot use this with larger Chaogu twist needles, but I'm really fond of knitting with them. They really knit nice. So, well, that about these socks. I think they're, every time I look at them, I think they're kind of psychedelic. But when I wear them, I'm not going to throw my foot in my neck to show you what that looks like, but they look awesome. So I will, when they're finished, I will post a picture of how they look on my feet. Okay, I almost finished them. Oh yeah, the one thing I would like to tell you is that, as you can see, the heels is just a solid color, and this is the Regia sock yarn 4-ply, and I will also finish the board with it. So the board and the, yeah, I like that color. Okay, so that's my first pair of socks. Then my second pair of socks, also magic loop, also 2 at a time, toe up, and as you can see, I'm now entering the gusset. This is a moosh pattern on Ravelry. I think it's free, I'm not sure. I'll let you know in the show notes. It has a nice pattern, and this is the sole, and this is a thicker yarn. This is also the Regia sock base, and well, pink and reds make me happy, so I wanted happy socks. I will change these colors again with the heels and with the cuff. This pattern is until now, well, easy to follow, and I like to knit them. So now I'm starting to knit the gusset with some increases, and the other socks that I showed you, because I knitted them the fish lip kiss heel way. Gosh, there wasn't much increasing, and still they fit. So it really amazes me how one pair of socks needs a gusset and the other doesn't. You're just knitting a tube and then knitting a heel in it. But well, we'll see what the difference in the way they fit is. As you can see, this is a thicker yarn. The other ones were knitted on a needle size 2 millimeters. I'm not sure how you convert these sizes, so I'll not try. It was 2 millimeters. This one is knitted on 2.5. Does it say somewhere? Or is it 3? Not sure. I think 2.5 millimeters. Yeah, 2.5 millimeters. But the yarn is thicker, so that makes sense. This is the yarn. I bought it on one of the Dutch fairs, so as far as I know, it's not available online. It's called Linde wool, and it's sock wool, and it's their 80% wool and 20% rami mix. 50 grams gives you a total of 150 millimeters. And you can wash it. And then you have, of course, the Regia 4-ply red and pink, and it's just a 70% wool, 20%, 25% polyamide mix, a standard blend. So that's a lot of fun to knit. I'm looking forward to knitting them and finishing them. So those were my socks. So on with my slip over. Oh, yeah, I'm knitting a slip over, which is called, I'll have the pattern here, Molly. Not sure if you can see it. It's a fair aisle knit, and it was designed by Jolijn Kopier, and this pattern is from April 2016, and I also bought it on a fair, I think in around the same time. And it comes with nicely charted colors, big on paper, and there's also a digital pattern, so I really like that. And I didn't really like the colors, but of course you can choose your own colors by which knit. That's what I did. The wool which I'm using is from Jamieson and Smith, 100% Shetland wool, and it's the Shetland Supreme jumper weight. And it gives 50 grams, gives 172 meters or 188 yards. I use this as my base color, and as you can see, I'm also knitting this on my Chaogu needles. And I do have a next interchangeable set of Knit Pro, but well, I really enjoy this. I'm knitting it in the round, and this is well, it's knitted from the board, I'm not sure how you call this in English, to the top. So I'm almost finished with it. The pattern says that I have to knit this for 10 centimeters. As you can see, I chose to knit it a little bit longer, and I'm just ready to start the coloring. Sorry about that. It just stopped recording. I'm not sure why. But I was going to show you the coloring, which I will do. Let me see. I chose these colors. Ta-da! Greeny, bluey, purplish blue, and then as an accent color the wine red, or the Bordeaux as we call it. Not sure what it is in English. Really look forward to having those colors on my needles, 2 at a time of course. So that's what's on my needles. And next is spinning. Yeah, because I'm spinning this. It's merino roving. It's from Amanda from Manda Crafts from the UK, and it's called Space Dyed Merino Darle. It's 100 grams, and what's left in the bag is 50 grams. Here's the... No, there it is. As you can see, it mentioned 100 grams and there's 50 in the bag. That's because, ta-da! I have spun up some. Oh. See if it focuses. Doesn't, does it? Can you see it? Oh, I think. Yeah, well, anyway. I spun it to match this color. This is a Skinny Singles from Hedgehog Fibers in the colorway Brumble, and I really love it, and it's so soft. And I'm going to ply this, so I need to spin up the other 50 grams to ply it, so I will have a skein of 100 grams to complement this. And the shawl I have in mind has a lace panel, and the lace panel will be worked in this. On screen it's more blue. In my hand it looks more green, but I cannot get the color. I cannot get the color right. Oh yeah, that's it. A bit more green. Anyhow, I'm very excited to see how this will look on my needles. And I'm excited to cast on the next shawl. It will be the Lily Pilly Wrap from Ravelry, and I really like the name. And it's well, a sort of a rectangle with stripes and a lacy panel in between. It really looks nice. You should look it up. And I hope to cast that on as soon as possible. What's more, for spinning, I am preparing some fibers like this. This is a carded bat. It's also merino with silk hankies and some stellina in it. And as you can see, those are just my favorite colors. And oh, if you could wear it as a wrap, probably you can if you felt it. If you felt it. Oh, it's so beautiful, these colors. That's an idea. I'll try to wet felt it because I really like the... Oh, that would be great. See if I can... Oh. Anyhow, to be continued. And I'm going to try and I bought some wool in Scotland. I've been to Scotland this summer holiday. It was really great. Really enjoy Scotland. I really love it. And I bought some fleeces. I bought some BFL, Blue Face Leicester fleeces. And I bought a Shetland fleece, and they're so nice. So I will be preparing those as well, and see if I can dye them, because that's one of the things I really enjoy doing, dyeing fiber, like this one. And as you can see, the same tealky blue. It's so strange how you have periods of time in which some colors just fascinate you. You can't get enough of them. At this moment, it's the teal, blue, sea colors and the wine colors. I'm not sure why. I just really enjoy them. And I want to spin some art yarn with some locks I dyed up, as you can see. This was kettle dyed in a rainbow pot. And these are Gotland locks and Teeswater locks, some merino. It's all yummy, yummy. I really like it. And those were dyed with landscape dyes, I think. Anyhow, look, here is the merino sheepy, crimpy. I really like this fiber. And I'm wondering what kind of art yarn I will be spinning with that. What it wants to be. Maybe a bitlock spinning with a base. I'm not sure. At least, that's what I have to tell about spinning. So, oh yeah, when my socks are finished, I'd like to cast on some new socks, but a bit thicker, perhaps. Yeah, it's thicker. And for that purpose, I bought this yarn, as you can see. Yeah, it's in my shades. Bluish, greenish, beige, grey. I do have other stuff. I really do have other stuff. Other colors. I do. I really have them. But this is from Manos del Uruguay. It's 75% merino superwash and 25% polyamide. The color is Atlantico, and it's 425 meters or 445 yards, 100 gram. So I'll be enjoying setting this up to knit me a pair of wintry socks. Because of the toe up way I knit, so the 2 at a time magic loop, I can afford to knit until the wool is entirely finished. Without leaving any scraps behind. So I hope I can make my socks a bit longer with this. That would be nice, but we'll see. Not sure what pattern yet. So that's it for this podcast. At least what I have to show you. I could go on talking about all kinds of stuff. for now, for example, I'm dyeing yarn. And I really enjoy the process of dyeing yarn. You know, you saw that I dyed some fleece. The colors, it amazes me every time what you can achieve with dyeing your own yarn. Um, so that's one of the things what I really like about Hedgehog Fibers, the way she dyes her yarn with the specs and the colors. You know, I can dye my yarn, but I have a different signature than they have. Probably different colorways, different ideas of what I really like. And so it's so great to be able to dye your own yarn for your own projects, or to complement projects, or well, I really like that anyway. So nothing left than to thank you if you stayed viewing. Thank you for spending your time with me, and I hope to see you again. I will post my show notes on Ravelry. At least I think I will. But at the end of this podcast, I will insert where you can find all the information. Well, if you have any questions or you want to know anything, please feel free to ask them, because I really like to interacting with you all. I will try to record the next podcast in 1 or 2 weeks. I hope 2 weeks. I hope 1 week, but I'm not sure. You know, I just don't get that much knitting done in a week. So I'm thinking, will I have enough to mention? I'm not sure. But at least 2 weeks, that will be doable. I need to work with progress keepers now to see what I have done, actually. Oh, I forgot about my new weaving project. Well, I'll give you a sneak review and tell you more about my new weaving project the next time. Okay, that was it. Thank you very much for joining me, and I hope we'll be seeing each other soon. Bye!